Welcome back to Land the House. I just got back from town and I bought a board. Now this isn't the usual pine board that I normally get from like Lowe's or Home Depot. This is oak and it is a nice board. I was able to pick this up for $25, and over the past several weeks you've seen me working on Ashley's bookcase. Well, this is going to be a rolling library ladder, which I think will be really great. So you'll see that whole series coming out somewhat soon. Also, I was driving down the road 2 days ago and there was a straw bale on the side of the road. So I pulled over and picked it up and got it because my brother-in-law came and helped me put cardboard down in the garden. My brother-in-law and niece just volunteered to help work in the garden for a while. The boxes that I've been collecting have been spread out and some dirt is placed on there until I get some straw. That should hold them in place. And I probably have this many more to go up on the porch. So I'm likely just going to finish out over here and call it good for this year with boxes. But that should definitely keep the grass from sprouting up. So last year I used some cardboard in the garden, just one layer, and it's kind of a back to Eden style garden where you put down a layer of either cardboard or several layers of paper, and then you put straw on top, and it prevents the weeds from growing. And it worked decent, but this year I've got the 2 layers of cardboard earlier in the year so that hopefully by next growing season it will be a nice just almost a dirt, but still be able to prevent weeds from growing through. We'll see. I'm new at this gardening stuff. Ashley just got home. She was working 7 to 11 today. That's probably my least favorite of her work hours because she gets up at 5:30 and Emma gets up with her. Well, it is now 4:30 on Monday afternoon, and look, the sun is way below the mountain. So daylight savings time is definitely here. So last night I was out in the building and I was working on Ashley's bookcase, but all of a sudden the dogs just went crazy. So, I mean, they bark all the time when they're outside anyway, but this time was especially loud. So I go out on the porch, open up the door, turn the light on, and I see a coyote, no joke, run on that side of that tree into the woods. And the dogs were up here on the porch. So the neighbors had been warning that there were coyotes around here. Lainey ran up on the porch with me at the workshop, peeing the whole time going up there. She was freaked out. But anyway, so we have to watch out now, keeping them out at night because of that. We don't want them to be eaten. All of my projects that I've made for the past several years have been out of pine. Check out this oak. That is a nice board. $25. And I mean, it's still a little rough, but I think it's so solid. Like, you touch pine with a fingernail and you can put a dent in it. This stuff, not happening. Anyway, I'm very excited to be working with this oak board. So I'm out here in the workshop using the Kreg pocket hole jig. If you've never used one of these, you really ought to try it. You clamp it down to a table or just use it flat, and you line up the board where you want to put a screw hole in, clamp that down, and then you just take this drill bit that comes with the jig here, and now you have a nice angled hole that will be easy to put into the bookcase that I'm building. So if you never use one of those, I definitely recommend you try it. I wanted to talk to you about Amazon. You know, I'm always making these product reviews, and some people think they're really annoying, others find them to be fun. Amazon, when let's say you buy something for $100, they have set aside, they being Amazon, 7% to give to the associate program. So let's say I advertise this guy for $100 or whatever it is, and you buy it. If you click my link, then I get 7%. But here's the deal. If you don't click my link and you just go to Amazon, Amazon keeps that money. So, and you paid the same price no matter where you bought it. So that's why I am always putting these links to different things that I use. So as the Christmas season is coming upon us, if you need to buy something from Amazon, click one of the links either in the bottom of one of my videos or go to landahouse.com and click one of those ads. It's just a way you could support the channel by buying things that you would normally buy, but instead of giving the money back to Amazon, it comes to us. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that in case you were wondering why I'm always like, go to Amazon. So that's why. You sure are mobile now. Well, Emma's crawling around the house after a good nap. I've been putting together Ashley's last piece of her bookcase, and I ran out of 2-inch screws down here, so we're about to go to the hardware store. I need to pick up the boards for the trim. I need to get the 2-inch screws. I need to look. Let's head out to the tiny house and see if I have any finishing nails. That would be helpful. So I may not have to buy those. Okay, we're looking for finishing nails in here. Let's see what we can find. I think I've got a box of them around here. Maybe over in there. Let's see what we can find. It's been a while since I've been in the tiny house. I think I got those nails around here. Do you see them, Emma? Where could they be? Well, this might be a job for both hands. Well, I did find the punch for those nails. Okay, I found them. They're a little bit bigger than I was remembering, but I think it'll do well enough to hold up that trim work. And then I'll use this punch to put them in there. So, all right. I believe we are off to the hardware store. Let's go load up. Just got back from the hardware store. They had these pine boards for $9, so I got 2 of them. They're 12-foot long, 1x8s. I figured I could make a good portion of the trim out of that. I'm going to use the router on the edges to kind of make a pretty edge, hopefully. Also, I got 20 feet of PVC pipe, 1/2 inch. Whenever you talk to somebody about ram pumps, they're always like, you got to have the most rigid drive pipe you can find to get the best efficiency. So I'm going to do a test of drive pipe, see if PVC is any better than the typical black poly pipe that I'm always using. So that's what I'm going to be using that for. Okay, finally got this third piece finished. Well, almost finished. I've got to get one more screw put in, but I'm going to lift it up before I do that. I'm really looking forward to trying out that library ladder using the oak. I think it should be fun. This thing's a very tight fit at the top, but the bottom has a bit more slack to it. I guess whenever I bolted this to the wall, I didn't make sure it had even pieces. But with trim work, I think I can still work around that. Yeah. It's been a month and a half now that I purchased this violin, and I've learned a lot. So some of the things that I have picked up on, my E string was sounding so bad. I was actually a whole octave too low. It was really bad. So now it's really tight and it's where it's supposed to be. Also, I was having a hard time learning the positions of my fingers, and so I bought this fretless fingerboard placement thing. See if you can see it there. And focus on it. Anyway, it's got a position for fingers for each of the notes, and that has helped out so much. So I'm a little better than I was a month and a half ago. I'm definitely able to look at the notes now and get an idea of what is what. But I still have it written down on here like the letter underneath the notes. So anyway, here's a little attempt at playing a song for you now that I've learned a little bit more. So I hope you could tell what that was supposed to be. I've been putting in maybe 4 or 5 hours a week, so not a whole lot, but it's fun. Definitely recommend you pick it up if you have always had the desire to play the violins. Well, I just came over to a new spot to ride the four-wheeler. I'm guessing there's somewhere around 20 plus miles over here, but it's 44 degrees and cold, so I brought a hat and some gloves to put on. Should be fun to explore something new up here. I think I might take this trail now. I was riding on a trail and found an old mine shaft. It's pretty cool. It's filled with water down there, but still fun. I should have brought a GoPro mount because some of these trails are pretty narrow and I have to have both hands on the wheel. Man, that was some good trail riding. Let me show you what I just came up. Loads of fun. And it goes on like this for about another half mile or so. Somewhere to my left, there's supposed to be another trail. I don't remember where it is. So about 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years, a friend of mine and I brought a front wheel drive car up here. Oh God, it's stuck. It was loads of fun. It took us forever to get it out. But anyway, so I think I'm gonna drive back to the house now. It's getting later in the day and I'm sure Ashley wants to do some stuff too, so anyway, been fun. Man, that was fun. Put only 8 miles on it, but that was one trail, so pretty good stuff. Also, first time I've gotten this up to 30 miles per hour. Handled it quite well. That's about as fast as I should be going with this thing, but it's almost time for its first oil change. And the thing that I'm going to mention to them is that this front right tire squeaks when you pull the brakes. Other than that, I don't really have any complaints. I hit 3 or 4 hills today coming out from the river, and this thing just ate those hills. Like, had it in 4-wheel drive and high, and I just leaned forward and had no problems pulling those hills. That was a really fun 4-wheeler ride. Can't wait to do that again. Explore some more trails. Okay, so I'm really new at using the router, and I want to put a nice edge on Ashley's bookcase trim, which is going to be out of something similar to this, like a 1x8. And I'm going to use a table saw and rip it down and stuff. But I want to test out using the router to make a more decorative edge. So I think, what is this? This is a rounding over bit 1/4. So let's try that first. See how it does. Definitely would like to make it look pretty, so maybe this will be good enough here. So far I'm really enjoying using the router. I've used it really just twice. Not sure how tight I'm supposed to go, but maybe that'll do it. All right, let me set up this board with the clamp real quick, and we will give this a go. I think I'll put it about right here, and just put a couple clamps on to hold it in place. Eventually, someday, I'd like to have a router table, and that way I can just slide pieces through and it won't be any big deal. It's just enough to make it prettier than a flat edge like that, so not too bad. That's going to work out very nice, having that routed edge on Ashley's trim boards. So I remember showing you the boards here that I'm going to use, so I'll have to cut those into strips of maybe 2 inches or so and put that edge on all of them. But it was easy enough to add. It just flew right on by, and I think it's going to be good enough. And I'll probably stick with that 1/4 inch because the board will only be about, like, 2 inches, so it won't have much to round over. Well, it's Wednesday night, about 5:15. I spent a lot of time riding around on the four-wheeler, which was really fun. Can't wait to do that again. And just got some cleaning up done in the house, like mopping and dishes and stuff. And Ashley's making some supper, so I'll have more dishes to clean. Thank you so much for being part of this week's vlog. I hope you have enjoyed it. And I've got a few big projects in the works, like this bookcase, that will be a 3-part series. So there haven't been a lot of other videos on the channel lately, and been paying off some bills and just doing life stuff. So they'll come back pretty soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for another exciting vlog. Bye. Anyway, so yeah.